I know a question will be asked back in America is people are looking for alternative solutions. Most Americans want a nonviolent solution to terrorism, and you've laid out a very concise plan. We've heard from Dr. Hagelin about the quantum physics aspect of this program, and we've heard from General Singh about the military implications. Could you talk a little bit about how a group in India can have such an effect over the whole world?
In the same way as the gardener putting one bucket full of water at the root of a tree, and it supplies nourishment to all the thousands of leaves, flowers, branches of the whole tree. So one place, the basis of life, the ultimate basis of life, is brought to human awareness, and everything in creation is moved by this fundamental value of consciousness.
Our viewers may only know a little bit about what the Vedic knowledge is and what the Vedic tradition is. Could you explain that a little bit so they could understand a little more about that?
Yes. I think we are talking of Vedic knowledge in this connection on the ground of physics, on the ground of chemistry, on the ground of mathematics, on the ground of physiology, on the ground of cosmology. All these values at the transcendental field, they are all lively there. This is modern science, and this is all in great details in the Vedic literature. Whether you believe or not, what else is there to believe? Except this, whatever is there to believe is kill this country, kill this country, kill this country, kill this country. You can kill the world. Action and reaction is a scientific phenomenon. And in the field of law, ignorance is no excuse, whether you know the law or don't know the law. Killing is sin. Whosoever is killing, whether he is the President of America or a laborer in Germany or whatever, killing is sin. A killer will be killed, destroyer will be destroyed. It's very simple. Everyone knows it. Whether from the field of science or whether from the field of religion, field of politics, field of economics, from whatever field, as you sow, so shall you reap. There is no two opinion on eliminating terrorism. What we are emphasizing is eliminate the very basis of terrorism, so that not only in this generation there will be lack of terrorism, but in all future time there will be no terrorism. We are raising a voice of killing is sin, not for today, but for all times. And killing a terrorist, or killing 100 terrorists, or killing 1,000 terrorists, million terrorists, is not going to eliminate terrorism, because new invaders have been throughout the ages. In our recent time, we saw Hitler. The whole Germany was with Hitler. Then what happened to it? All those great warriors, what they did to the world. They invaded a country, killed, and they ruled here and there, and again they were put out and put out and put out and put out. It's not killing the terrorist that will root out terrorism. It is creating a highly intense influence of peace and harmony that will not allow terrorism to sprout.
What we have today is a modern scientific corroboration of the wisdom of the ages. The most ancient wisdom, the Vedic wisdom, every major philosophical and spiritual tradition on earth have talked about life's essential unity. But this is no longer philosophy, it's no longer theory. It is a scientific fact that you and I are one, because according to modern physics and the other scientific disciplines today, if we scratch deeply enough beneath the surface of our physiology, beneath the cellular, atomic, nuclear, and subnuclear levels, we all arrive at the self-same unity, a single universal field of intelligence that underlies and gives rise to us all. Now, we're talking about, in these Vedic technologies of defense, accessing and stimulating that unifying field that connects us all. And as General Singh says, an influence there propagates throughout society much like a radio wave, but on a much deeper and more powerful level. See, the field of unity, the field of peace, is very, very deep, very fundamental, and very powerful. It's 10 million times smaller, more fundamental, and more powerful than even the nuclear force. So if you want to undo the threat of nuclear destruction, chemical and biological weapons, you can wipe away that threat in a moment by getting to a more basic level of the problem. Prevent the birth of an enemy. Prevent the escalation of enmity, violence, and stress by creating indomitable waves of peace and coherence at the basic level of society. Now, what we must do, I think, immediately is implement these proven approaches. As General Kulwant Singh has said, and perhaps we can revisit later, this is already the most rigorously tested, the most thoroughly established of any phenomenon in the history of social science, the ability to prevent violence and war and terrorism through the group practice of transcendental meditation and its advanced techniques, including yogic flying. We need to create such groups in the military immediately. Analysts have said that it would have been easier for these terrorists to simply detonate a nuclear device or release a vial of biological weapons than it was to execute their highly coordinated pinpoint attack involving the simultaneous breach of multiple airport security systems. So the next strike could be worse. This is not the time for hollow assurances from our government that our military might is going to somehow protect us from further acts of terrorism. Nor is it the time for us to give up our hard-won freedoms by inviting a massive escalation of our U.S. intelligence services. No, this is the time for a new approach, an approach with extensive scientific research to support it, an approach that has proven its ability to prevent violence and stop terrorism.